and welcome to this special show from Australia. I'm Rika Roy. While following the Indian cricket team during their World Cup campaign in Australia, we took time out to explore why sports is an integral part of Australian lifestyle. Cricket connects the subcontinent even thousands of miles away from their home. A 2020 tournament called the Sub Cup that started 5 years back with the motive of staying connected to their roots and to cricket is now a competition with a prize money of $10,000, which even attracts foreign internationals.
The Haryana Bulls versus the Punjabi Smashers. No, it's not a local cricket match somewhere in India, but a T20 clash at the Wellington Square in Perth. The ground at the heart of the city is getting ready to host a T20 battle of 16 of the best teams from the subcontinent. A clash that is called the Sub Cup, which begins next month.
Sub Cup concept is very similar to IPL. So there's teams which are allowed to bring two non-subcontinental players. We started with 6 teams and it's gone up to now. Last year we had about 24 teams.
Hello and welcome to this special show from Australia. I'm Rika Roy. While following the Indian cricket team during their World Cup campaign in Australia, we took time out to explore why sports is an integral part of Australian lifestyle. Cricket connects the subcontinent even thousands of miles away from their home. A 2020 tournament called the Sub Cup that started 5 years back with the motive of staying connected to their roots and to cricket is now a competition with a prize money of $10,000, which even attracts foreign internationals.
The Haryana Bulls versus the Punjabi Smashers. No, it's not a local cricket match somewhere in India, but a T20 clash at the Wellington Square in Perth. The ground at the heart of the city is getting ready to host a T20 battle of 16 of the best teams from the subcontinent. A clash that is called the Sub Cup, which begins next month.
Sub Cup concept is very similar to IPL. So there's teams which are allowed to bring two non-subcontinental players. We started with 6 teams and it's gone up to now. Last year we had about 24 teams.
19-year-old Abhishek Kumar, who plays for the Haryana Bulls in the Sub Cup, plies his trade with the Scarborough Districts Cricket Club. He is one of the top-grade players in Western Australia and the Sub Cup is the best option for him in the off-season.
I always like winning and it's always good to score runs and, you get more confident and that's what I like, just keep in touch with cricket so I can perform well in summers.
For some, this is an opportunity to interact with foreign internationals like Suresh Perera, while for the others it is an event to remain connected with the community through the sport they love.
Well, he's played international cricket for Sri Lanka, so obviously he's got heaps of experience. So you can just watch and learn, just watching these guys play, how they go about their game and stuff like that. You can learn a lot, pick up a lot. Plus these guys are really friendly, you can have a chat, you can ask about things, about your batting or just cricket in general.
We play to get social. That's the main thing. We are so far from our environment and, these are the boys, we get together and after the match we stay here, for a long time. So, for us is the main motive is to get social, to be honest with you. But still we enjoy cricket, we love cricket, we are Indian, so cricket is in our blood.
The recognition from Western Australian Cricket Association has made the Sub Cup a professional tournament. This year they will be playing with white balls.
The Sub Cup is a battle of supremacy of the subcontinental teams away from their home. But behind that there is another motive, which is to prepare subcontinental players for the Western Australian team and for the Big Bash League as well. In Perth with camera person Gauri Prasad, this is Rika Roy for NDTV.
The Melbourne Cricket Ground is not just an iconic sports venue, it houses two of the world's best sports museums, the National Sports Museum and the MCC. The MCC, or the Melbourne Cricket Club, was founded in 1838 It charts the birth and growth of cricket in this country as well as several other Olympic sports.
While the Marylebone Cricket Club was founded in 1787, almost half a century later, in 1838, another MCC was born, the Melbourne Cricket Club. This museum in Melbourne charts the birth of the game of cricket in Australia. From iconic pieces like this trophy from 1888 from a Victoria, New South Wales game to Sir Donald Bradman's baggy green. From Lala Amarnath's bat to souvenirs from a few hundred cricketers over the last 2 centuries. This museum houses it all. But for the museum curator, here's the most precious souvenir.
I think, to me, one of the most valuable things in our collection is a bit of what we think is the first Australian cricket uniform. It's from the 1880 tour of Australia to England, and it's this incredible sash. It's the Australian cricket colours of that period, which you would expect to be green and gold, but it's actually purple and black. It's a wonderful stripy piece, and to me that's completely irreplaceable.
While cricketing memorabilia occupies a large portion of this museum, there's also a section dedicated to the Olympics. Australia, like Greece, has participated in every Olympic Games of the modern era. For a walk through this museum full of masterpieces, you'll have to shell out $30 Australian.
Apart from those treasures inside, outside the stadium in its periphery, there are 15 such statues of former greats. This truly sums up why and how Australia has attained gold standards in sports. In Melbourne, this is Rika Roy for NDTV. Gurinder Sandhu, of Indian origin, recently made his debut for Australia. But he is not the only one. Here is another Indian-Australian cricketer in the junior ranks who's making a lot of runs and news as well.
She's 12, plays in the V, packs power in her drives and likes playing big knocks. Hope Kareta will remind you of a teenage boy who used to do the rounds of a Mumbai Maidan. The 12-year-old of Indian origin is a middle-order batsman who also opens the bowling for her team. Only a couple of months into the game, Hope got a chance to play for the Dandenong West Cricket Club as they were falling short of players. 3 games later, she hit 100 and took 6 wickets as well.
The boys were kind, and the first match I played was a bit scary because I was batting against boys bowling me, but I got through it. I would love to carry on playing cricket, play for the women's.
No girl from Dandenong has done what Hope has done, and she hopes cricket doesn't take a backseat once she grows up.
Hasn't played cricket before, and she's only played probably 7 games now. I mean, to make 100, there wouldn't be many under 13 kids make 100, boys, let alone girls, playing against boys. I know she's very good at all the sports that she plays, so I would hope that she sticks with cricket.
Hope has not just displayed her batting talent, but her bowling potential as well. With her Indian genes and the training here, everyone hopes that she will go a long way and one day even represent the green and gold. In Dandenong, this is Rika Roy for NDTV. The Indian cricket team has been on a roll in this tournament. Their big wins have not just done a world of good to the boys in blue, but their fans as well. An estimated 40,000 NRIs have travelled to Australia from all over the globe, hoping to see their favourite cricket team do an encore. While some will leave midway, others will stay for as long as the team marches on in this tournament. A group of 50 cricket fanatics travelled all the way from Singapore to watch India begin its campaign in Australia. They had planned this trip an year in advance and they soaked in the atmosphere of each ground they went to. However, not surprisingly, the most memorable experience was the victory versus Pakistan.
Crazy. It was amazing. And we were sitting, actually our entire lot was sitting around the Pakistan enclosure. So by the end of the last 5-6 overs, they were leaving and we were like singing to them.
It means much more than the India-Pakistan match. The 50 of us have travelled together. And India-Pakistan, India-South Africa, the 50 of us travelled together. And we made this plan exactly 1 year ago.
Deepak Jurani, a telecom engineer, travelled from Ireland to see the World Cup. He had saved 5 lakh rupees and after hectic negotiations with his boss,
he was finally granted leave.
I had to actually compare Cricket World Cup to Football Compare, and then I told them that this is really, really big, and I'm die-hard cricket fan, so I had to actually convince him a lot, and then in the end he was okay with it.
According to ICC estimates, roughly 40,000 people of Indian origin have travelled for this tournament. In Adelaide, 80% tickets were sold to them and 90% of them had travelled from abroad. In Melbourne, 85% tickets were sold to NRIs, of which 58% travelled to Australia from across the world. Travelling to the stadium to cheer for your favourite team, though, is only half the job done. The real fun begins after that, and the fans have been coming up with new and unique ways to stand out in the crowd, like this group from Nagpur.
Well, we got it stitched in Nagpur for all of us. This is made out of Indian linen, very special cloth, very auspicious and very lucky for our teams.
The 2011 World Cup victory not just won the Indian cricket team many fans at home but abroad as well. Since then, many expats have been following the Indian cricket team during the major tournaments. They may still not be compared to the Barmy Army, but their roar has definitely been louder this time around in Australia. With camera person Gauri Prasad in Perth, Rika Roy for NDTV. Time now for a very short break on the show. On the other side, we show you why the Australians are fast taking to a traditional Indian spot. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The growing Indian population down under has popularized traditional food, artistic pursuit like Bollywood dancing and now the sport of Kabaddi. What started as a casual get-together on weeknights after work is now a sought-after sport among the Indian community. And not just that, there are as many as 4 competitions played in different states across Australia where even the local Australians are taking part.
This may look like a small village in Punjab, but thousands of miles away at the corner of Kent Street in Perth, these young boys are practicing the traditional sport of Kabaddi as part of a club called Perth Kabaddi.
There are basically 3 Kabaddi clubs in Perth. So yeah, we do have competition against each other. And we are the oldest ones. There's 2 new ones. But we had a match in Diwali Mela last year. So that was pretty big. And we had about 8,000 to 10,000 people watching us, and it was good. Yeah, so it's a lot of competition, but it's not as big as compared to Melbourne or Sydney, but it's growing.
ऑस्ट्रेलिया में एक रग्बी एंड फुटी चलती है काफ़ी प्रचलित है ऑस्ट्रेलिया में. लाइक ऑस्ट्रेलियंस जो फिजिकली गेम्स को काफ़ी लाइक करते हैं. तो जब से हमारे पंजाबी लोग और इंडियन कम्युनिटी यहाँ ऑस्ट्रेलिया में आनी शुरू हो गई, तो उन्होंने देखा कि हमारे पास भी एक ऐसी गेम है जो फिजिकली टच है और जो लोग लाइक करेंगे इसको, तो इसलिए इन्होंने कबड्डी शुरू की. जैसे कि पहले वसनीक मेलबोर्न सिडनी में आए लोग, तो धीरे धीरे जो काफ़ी अरसे से काम चल रहा है कबड्डी का इन ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स, जैसे कि 15-20 साल से.
There are 16 clubs that play the sport nationally in Australia. The competition is very high in the eastern cities of Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane. And there are as many as 3 full-fledged academies as well.
And the competition is very, very big in eastern states. It's only 3 from Perth at the moment, but there's 4 or 5 big tournaments, like Australian Sea Games. There's a big one in Griffith, and there's Sea Games in Sydney and Sea Games in Melbourne. So there's a lot of competition. Yearly? Yes, yearly, yeah, every year, and it's mostly in June and in Easter, around April, May. So it's annually, yeah.
There are about 11,000 officially registered players pursuing the sport in Australia. Most of these players are in their taxi business, while some are students who play in their spare time.
What started as a sport to remain connected with the community is growing each day. So much so that it has drawn in the local population who not only want to know about this game called Kabaddi, but also want to become an integral part of the game here in Australia. In Perth, with Afshan Anjum, this is Rika Roy for NDTV. To the cricket lovers, it might look like a museum of dreams. But in Australia's Perth, a cricket museum not just whets the appetite of the cricket connoisseurs, but the curry connoisseurs too. In the north of Perth lies the bustling Mount Lawley, home to one of the city's most happening curry houses. And it's not just because of the food it serves, but because of the way it connects cuisine with cricket and culture. 16 years ago, Govinda Rajalu Govardhan, popularly known as Gogo, bought this property and set up a themed restaurant called Gogo's Madras Curry House. An Indian restaurant abroad is almost always on the radar of the Indian cricketers. And Gogo's restaurant was given a big thumbs up by none other than Sachin Tendulkar.
I concentrated on getting the best players' memorabilia. I needed them to, feel happy to put their memorabilia, let me say it this way, to hang their memorabilia in my restaurant. The most precious one is Sachin's bat, most precious one. But because I live in Australia, I pride having Gilly's last keeping glove.
Gogo started cooking for sports teams like AC Milan in the early 90s. Then came an assignment with the Australian swimming team, followed by the Pakistan cricket team. As years went by, he cooked for other cricketers as well. But who's the one sportsman he is the most fond of?
Sachin. He's been here twice, right? There's one particular thing that I need to tell you. The reason why it's close to my heart is because everyone comes here, they're happy, enjoyed myself, and they're gone. But Sachin is one person actually has called me, personally thanked me. I had a very good meal. That is something special because he's a big man. He's a big celebrity in India, and getting a personal touch like that.
And that's what he tries to provide his customers who come to soak in the ambience of Indian delicacies and cricket.
Best place to come for Indian food.
We come here because Gogo is a terrific chef, his food is fantastic, and cricket, he lives and breathes cricket. He's a cricket man, he feeds cricket.
Culture, cricket and curry are the three things Gogo wanted to bring together in an Indian restaurant, and he's very successfully done so. He's not just the most favourite chef of the Indian cricketers, but has also played a very significant role in Australia beating England in the 2006 Ashes. In Perth, this is Rika Roy for NDTV. That brings us to the end of our special show from Australia. Hope you enjoyed watching as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Goodbye.